fake news, then you have to say, okay, interesting, it's possible, I would like to understand why. And then
remember that. She said, well, it's interesting. If you can see it, then therefore it's real. Therefore, we should be able to measure it, and we can do a calculation. But remember, she said that.
Maybe it's possible only a few times a year.
It could be done daily.
Daily, okay.
Even with just after new moon.
Then it's fine, Then it means that moon is far enough from Earth that in close to the full moon, you can see it like from the front and from the edge.
But in the model, there's a model software called Celestia.
Yeah,
you know Celestia.
I don't know. Yeah,
it's a mod. Yeah, it's a 3D model of the solar system. Yeah. When you put this date and time in, you shouldn't be able to see the moon from both places. So there's a problem somewhere.
So probably the model is wrong. This is for me, as a scientist, we're always like, okay, there's a puzzle, there's observation, which is true data, and there's a model which cannot confirm the data. And I'm sorry, the model is wrong. So
you would say direct experience is the king.
Yes,
absolutely. I agree with you. Yeah, I totally agree with you.
If this is possible,
the data has to match.
Yeah, then the model is wrong. Then the program probably.
Because that's science.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, with the moon, it does this other strange thing. On a solar eclipse, where coincidentally the sun and moon appear the same size, which we're saying is a coincidence, The moon does a shadow on the Earth, Now this shadow is 70, 100 miles wide. But this is the only phenomena in our experience here in this reality where the shade is smaller than the object casting it. So you can do a million experiments with shadows. The shadow's never smaller than the object casting it. And here we have the moon, it shrinks its shadow. The people I speak to just can't work out why this can be. Why? It's something I can't get my head around either. Because it should be
this is
thousands of miles.
This is a parallax. This is the parallax. So this shadow and the toy is long way from the light. Okay, the shadow is decreasing.
No, it's not. It's always the same size. It can't go smaller than the object casting it. It says tiny shadow. This word here should really say same size shadow.
Yes, it can. If you do it from the top, then the shadow is very small.
There's another image somewhere. So think of sun and clouds. The clouds will always cast a shadow bigger or the same size as the cloud. There's no phenomena in this reality where, say, my pen. Can we get the light? My pen, and the light comes on my pen. The shadow can never be smaller than the pen or my bottle. Say the sun's out today.
Yeah, but look, if the sun in the zenith and you are standing under the sun, your shadow is much smaller than you because it's from the top.
Okay, say the sun was right above my head, like the solar eclipse. The shadow would not be smaller than my head. You with me?
Yeah, the cross section. Yeah.
It wouldn't go smaller than my head. So say I was 50 meters up in the sky, and the sun was right above my head, and it went on me. The shadow on the ground would be the same size or a little bit bigger. This is the only phenomena in our reality where something creates a shadow smaller. This is a problem.
I don't think it's a problem. Maybe you caught me on the spot, but I have to think about it. Some of these questions
you're getting flat
I don't solve every day.
Sure. This is why this is science. This is why we question things.
Absolutely. I mean, this is I don't think this is unexplained. I'm sure it is explained. I have to think about it.
This is a quick question a friend wanted me to put in. He said, with the lunar lander, there's one rocket. How would that land with one rocket when the spacecraft is asymmetric? Like we haven't seen on Earth a craft landing. I mean, the SpaceX one they say lands, but that's very symmetrical. So it's a very asymmetric lunar lander. Surely we'd have seen that being tested on Earth, or we'd see things now.
It's jumping. Yes. Did you see the movie of First Man? It's called. How he practiced, in the movie, he practiced landing on this. And it was jumping like hell, like this. And he said, I will practice until I make it. So it's probably some also human skill involved in there.
Maybe a bit like when they did a manual docking with the ISS.
Yeah, it's all. I mean, this Apollo 11, it's all manual. If you go to Smithsonian, it's shocking. They use the calculator smaller than we use
4
in our
kilobytes memory.
smaller than we have in our telephones right now. It's all manual.
Yeah, and they had when the lunar lander took off, they filmed it. You know that piece of footage? The lunar lander takes off from the moon, and they created a film. It was like a 10-second film of it taking off. And my friend asks, who filmed it and who?
No, no.
How did that?
They left probably cameras there. That's fine.
And then went back to get them.
No, they get through radio, pictures through radio. Yeah.
So in the 1960s, they sent videos, digital videos, back across space.
Well, it's radio. So let's say they can take pictures.
But they only had a 4K memory lunar lander, and now you're saying they had like a 20 megabyte ability to capture video. This is a strange one.
Come on, we have pictures from the missions.
As scientists, we can't take pictures as proof.
I don't know what was the technology, but in 1960s, this is 69, okay? So there were already missions to Venus, Mars, also lunar orbiters existed. They all sent pictures. Pictures from the back of the side of the moon were sent before.
Oh shit!
I, as an independent journalist, I can't use pictures as evidence because we can watch a film, a science fiction film, and they've got great pictures of space.
No,
you know,
no, come on. Pictures is data. Pictures is data. So of course you can fake pictures. In our time, 21st century is unique. We fake everything. So I don't think in 20th. Well, of course you can fake also all the times, or in the 15th centuries as well. But if somebody, I mean, this is unethical again, yeah. So I mean, first approach should be like, okay, you have picture. This is data. I look at it.
Yeah.
And if I have questions, I will ask, how did you get this data? Yeah. And the person who claims that this is a data, he has to provide all the materials.
That's true.
Prove that this is real data.
That's true. And with the moon mission, they said 2 years ago they've lost all the data. Remember that? They said they've lost all the data. Because some people went to say, oh, can we study the data? Because they had some questions, like I have. And they said, oh, we've lost it all. Can't find it.
Oops.
This is also, this is another force called government. Okay?
Things get a little shady sometimes.
Yes. Sometimes governments want to hide things. We know this. And they can say we lost it instead of sharing them, for instance.
Shocking.
I don't know. I looked at pictures of the lunar orbiter, for instance, of the surface of the moon, and there is clearly lines inside there. You can tell me that, oh, that picture was faked, and that's why when you look at the data, it's the land inside is there. You can tell it's possible, yeah, that somebody faked that. But it's also then, of course, in this case, I can say, all right, some data faked. What can we trust here in this universe?
You would say it's healthy to trust photos and images from bodies like NASA.
Well, I mean, what can we trust then?
Sure.
I don't know. I mean, if we
trust our own pictures,
everything,
then we end up crazy, maybe.
Yeah, we should hold on something,
Yeah.
And NASA, I think, safeguard its reputation. I would say, trying very hard.
I ate my telemetry.
All scientists do that. But when the government is involved, I don't know what happens. So that I can imagine that there are forces saying, like, we don't want you to share this data. And then the scientists are constrained.
Yeah.
And then you can call it unethical
Check.
From our outsider point of view. But for those people who work there, this is maybe a threat of life,
Sure.
And so it's a controversial thing.
Yeah, because NASA is a government agency.
Yes, exactly. So
yeah.
I don't know what they hide. I cannot prove or disprove because I'm an outsider.
Sure. Two questions about the space station. I think a year ago they had some cracked glass on the space station due to space debris. This was put all over the internet and mainstream media. But yet they still did spacewalks a week later. Would you think that's a bit dangerous to do if you're getting the screen cracked by space debris. Surely if you're an astronaut, you'd be like, hey, I'm not going out there next week because my spacesuit, I'm going to die. There's a good chance of dying.
Well, this space debris is being tracked. Not everything is known, but there are telescopes on the ground which tracking these little specks in the space and calculating their orbits. There are catalogs of this space debris. They are like not homogeneously distributed all over. There are like packs of them. Like in that, remember the movie Gravity again? Like they say, oh, it's coming, like this is space debris from particular mission, and it's true that they are distributed unevenly. So there are some dangerous times and there are not so dangerous.
Do you think they're just brave astronauts?
God, it's another force. You have to do things. It's your job, and of course, I'm sure the government takes all possible care that people are not damaged there. But if it's a job, you just do your job.
Yeah.
You given the order, you do your job. Well, I think this is
military style. Yeah. Going on to something a bit interesting here. This is recognized all around the world as the spherical trigonometry of the curvature of the Earth, yeah? So, do you prefer kilometers or miles?
I prefer kilometers.
Okay. So, if we were to look, let's try and make this brighter. If we were to look 50 kilometers, there should be 195 meters below the curvature. It's 195 meters drop. Does that make sense? So, if I walked in a straight line 50 kilometers, I would have dropped.
Okay. Because of the curvature.
Because of the curvature of the Earth. This is how much is that? 195 meters.
Okay.
Yeah. So for 20 kilometers, there will be 31 meters drop.
Okay.
This has been verified through universities and astrophysicists.
Okay.
Some people who, over 4 years, have done about 50 to 100 experiments. And they can see lighthouses and have done laser tests over between 30 and 60 miles. So like a laser hits a mirror across a long lake, like Lake Constance, near Constance, near here. And seeing things like Chicago's skyline from across Lake Michigan from 50 miles away. And they factored in the height of the person and all the maths. And that these people actually cannot find the Earth's curvature. For instance,
I didn't understand what they said.
For instance, I have a video here. I just want to show you some tests. So this guy has done some tests. Where are they? Going to be further on. And there's many. Using the P900 camera. Have you heard of this camera? It's 86 times zoom. And it's only come out recently. These people have done tests over 10 kilometers, 20 kilometers, and they can see torches, mirrors, lasers, where they've done the maths and it should be 10 meters below the curve or 20 meters below the curve. And this is getting really strange really quickly. He's saying here, he's done the maths, I verified some of it, so this should be 21 feet below the curvature. This is only over 7.53 miles, so this is 10 kilometers, let's say. Is it factored in the camera height? And there are curvature calculation tools, and he's seeing lasers and mirrors. And there are people I know, especially in America, who are doing loads of these tests, and they can't find this curvature. What would you say to these people?
They have to take into account the height that they stay, which
they
they
are.
stay.
They are.
And the height of the mirrors.
They are. Even if it's 50 centimeters, they're putting that into their calculations.
How do they measure the height of their own height on the Earth? They have to know it very precisely. If they want to measure 20 feet.
Sure. What they do, they're actually generous. So say they set up a tripod at 1 meter, they actually put into the calculations 2 meters.
Height, like relative height of you, because Earth is not really round.
Oh, she's like going to like relative height of level of sea level. Are you above sea level? That's how we measure. That's how we measure shit. This is my second time through, or actually about 2.5 times. I started listening, and then I got interrupted the second time. But
it was better than the first time.
Oh, dude, I laid down to take a nap. I put this on and I just laid there. I was gonna try to catch a 20-minute nap.
The fact that he's getting honest answers out of her, because he isn't doing a flat earth troll, essentially. He's really talking to her about subject matter that she's specifically trying to answer and talk about, like a smart person, which is cool.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the same time, if you were that woman and you listen back to this interview, that should be your wake-up call that you wasted your whole life learning lies.
But she's got such a prestigious position there, and
it's a job.
It's a job. I'm just doing my job, right?
Like the astronauts, everybody just does their job for the money. Because everyone's a prostitute. Don't be a fucking.
And I can tell you another thing for a fact: the governments and government websites.
So what are you claiming?
I'm just not claiming anything. I'm here to ask questions. No, I don't have any conclusions.
That these results prove that Earth is not curved.
I'm not saying that. I'm not making any claim. Have any labels. What I'm saying to you is, this is strange. What do you think?
I think these measurements have to be verified by scientists. It's like claiming.
But everyone's a scientist.
UFO. No, not
I disagree.
everyone. We are trained. We are trained as scientists. We are trained with the analytical skills and scientific judgment. Even if we don't know something for sure, we can judge based on the other lots of knowledge of scientific facts.
Okay.
And not everyone can do measurement and say, look, I measured this. How do I prove it? I had one crazy person visiting me, taking pictures of dark places with the flash. And she was claiming there are these little dust particles which she sees on the flash picture. These are UFOs.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy. Okay, but this is the fact.
Sure.
She took a picture of the dust particles, scattered light. But her interpretation was, these are UFOs.
But if 100 different people have done this test with this new camera, 86 times zoom, at lakes, all around the world, peer-to-peer, there's a place peer-to-peer in England, and they're getting the same results of missing curvature, that's scientific method, observable, repeatable, measurable. That's the scientific method. And you replying the word refraction isn't the scientific method.
It is?
Well, where's your results that show refraction explains these tests away?
I can see sunlight from the behind of the horizon when the sun is down.
That doesn't mean that humans can jump up 30 meters.
What do you mean jump?
Okay, so say this human in this tree should be 30 meters below the curvature. You can't use the word refraction for them jumping up 30 meters, the tree and the person.
Why do you claim that your calculations are right? I'm not verifying right now.
I'm pretty smart. And I verify.
I have to trust you. I see you first time.
But that's what I say to you. I could send you some data for you to do some.
Thank you.
But that doesn't make you a scientist.
No. It means that I don't want to do this particular project because I'm interested in many other projects.
But you're coming to conclusions without doing tests. That's not very scientific.
I'm not making a conclusion. Any.
But as an astrophysicist, surely you'd want to look at something like that.
No.
Why not?
I'm not interested.
Why would that be?
Because I'm busy with many much bigger questions than.
And you think this is nonsense?
I think it's nonsense.
The detectable curvature.
Yes.
Our survey said.
What would be your first reason for this being nonsense?
Because it's proven curve is round.
Could you show me the scientific methods experiment that did that?
Oh yes, it's done in 2,000 years ago.
Which test was this? Is this the sticks in the ground one?
Sticks in the ground. Ships on the horizon.
I could show you with this camera ships, they go over the curvature. I could show you them coming back.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's reappearing.
So it works?
Huh?
So it works in your case?
What I'm saying is the human eye has a vanishing point in these tests. I'm not making any claims. I'm just trying to find things out. The human eye has a vanishing point. That's not curvature, it's the human eye's vanishing point. Ships go beyond the vanishing point, and people say it's the curvature. I can prove to you today, if you want, with this P900 camera, the ship comes back.
I didn't understand that.
Okay.
It's okay. I'm not going to talk to people who claim that Earth is flat.
I'm trying to find answers to some very interesting
it's just
things.
enough for me. I don't. It's enough of nonsense. That woman was coming to me 3 times and always.
But you can't project her onto me. I'm a completely different person.
I'm sorry. Do you say this picture is the data? She claimed exactly the same.
No, but this is video. This is video.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
So if I showed you 1,000 videos,
it's interpretation.
Okay, if I showed you 1,000 videos of PhD scientists doing this, these aren't a bunch of idiots. These are scientists. A lot of them are PhD scientists. If I sent you 1,000 videos from PhD scientists doing curvature tests, you would still say it's nonsense.
PhD science in what?
Many different. I mean, some are civil engineers. Some are all sorts of different things. Some are astronomers.
Well, let them publish this. I want to read that paper.
But when they publish it, do you know what happens? It gets shut down.
Yeah, I want to read that paper.
No, the paper's not allowed to get out there. You even put a video on YouTube, they turn it off.
I'm not talking about this. This goes into a direction I don't want to talk about.
But this is science.
No.
Because it's measurable, repeatable, observable.
It's not science.
Why would you say that? Why would you say this isn't science when people are doing tests and capturing data?
Because of that woman I told you. There are pictures. These are data.
But as a scientist, you should say that was her and this is something different.
No.
You can't project an old issue onto a new issue.
I'll give you an example. By exclusion. Exclude that. That picture was, you claim that every picture is a science. It's data. I agree. This is data. Somebody recorded it.
Yeah.
What comes after data is the analysis of the data.
And that's what's happening in these videos.
How the analysis is done, and after the analysis, there is interpretation of that analysis.
I can show you hours of this.
And
This is the data, the curvature model that every university in the world goes with.
Fine.
And this has big problems.
Make these measurements on the moon. Make these measurements on the moon. Make these measurements on the moon.
How would we get to the moon? They said they lost the data recently.
And you will, go to the moon yourself. Go to the moon yourself.
But we can't go to the moon.
Yeah, so what can I do?
But NASA said that last year they can't go to the moon because they lost all the data.
Well, sorry. We live on the planet with the water and the atmosphere and gravity and uneven shape. And if somebody measures something which doesn't fit exactly circle of the Earth, I'm sorry for this person because this is idealistic model.
You think they just got lucky and found a flat area?
I don't know what. It's probably just whatever. It's randomness.
It's randomness. Oh, this is good.
They have to make, in order to prove that Earth is flat, they have to take million measurements at million places.
I would say there's about 500 measurements of lack of curvature that are very well done with calculations.
It's your judgment.
No, it's not my judgment. These are not my judgment. They exist. These tests exist.
They are claims.
No, they're
tests.
They're actually tests.
These are claims. If they are not verified, these are just claims.
But you're saying they have to be verified by the scientific community?
Yes.
What if the scientific community at a high level is just shutting this information down?
Well, I can tell you. You can go and collect leaves, for instance, yeah, because it's interesting. It's biology. Yeah? You collect leaves, it's biology. You come to the biologist and you say, look, this leaf is a little different than this one. How would you explain this? And he says, well, it's just natural variations. I'm not interested in this. And you say, oh, you are a biologist and you're not interested in this interesting thing. Why this leaf is different from that? It's biology. It's science. And you're not interested.
These aren't like different leaves. These are the same different tests of the same thing coming with the same results. That's highly scientific.
I should have asked your credentials before I talk to you. I'm sorry.
Here she demanded that I stop the recording, as she was super flustered and angry. Now, before I tell you what happened, just remember what she said earlier in the interview.
This is, for me, as a scientist, we're always like, okay, there's a puzzle, there's observation, which is true data, and there's a model which cannot confirm the data. Then I'm sorry, the model is wrong. So
you would say direct experience is the king.
Yes.
So she is a contradictory mess of a scientist. And this person is one of the world's top astrophysicists. It's laughable. And regarding the oil rig, I mean, in the words of Nathan Oakley, if you're a fundamentalist religious zealot, then that's not an oil rig at 26 miles. That would be a slightly looming non-standard refraction high in a holographic projection of an oil rig from behind the reified edge of a sphere based on an R value, turning the oil rig which seems to be there into an oil rig which is not actually there. That's what you have to assert if you are Professor Dr. Bergigina, who is paid well to mind control young humans into thinking the same. So she then demanded that I delete the interview. So I secretly uploaded it to the cloud as I kept her talking and calmed her down. She then told me I would need written permission to publish this anywhere. I'm afraid that's not really waykiwayki policy, as there's a bigger picture than her theoretical pseudoscience supported on the foundations of fragile, egoistic arrogance. I could say to her that anyone mind-controlling mass groups of humans knowingly or unknowingly needs written permission from waykiwayki, so it works both ways. I also do want to share my credentials. 50 meters swimming. That's it. As I left school at 15 because my soul knew it was all a load of garbage. And in that interview, I think I'm the one that stayed rational, and she's the one that got emotional and flustered and defensive. You see, it's all about the elite building and paying for gatekeeper temples and getting young people to pay to worship at them. It's a clever trick. The questions she couldn't answer are all answered in my Luminaries Mysterium documentary, where just 1 hour after I uploaded it, YouTube really shut me down and hid me from the search algorithms and removed subscribers without them knowing. My plan didn't end here though. I created double-sided flyers that are downloadable in the description and a linked Instagram account full of memes, and then bombed the city, mainly student cafes. This whole method of undercover interviews and flyers is simple for anyone to copy and paste into other cities. I've shown you how easy it is. I've shown you that the top astrophysicists are frauds. You have the tools, as they simply have no scientific method proofs. It makes it fun. The second undercover interview I did in Freiburg was on a different subject and will be online in a few weeks' time. I also have some new t-shirt designs I'll share in a moment. And as you know, I do professional true cosmology, astrology, luminology with over 250 happy clients now. And I also give advice regarding the understanding and investment into crypto assets. Oh, and whoever it is who keeps getting the secret police to stop me in different countries and point guns at me for no reason before strangely letting me off, just come and have a chat and a cup of tea, mate. It comes across like you've watched too many 80s B movies and think you're all Miami Vice or something. Just need to grow up.
Brilliant, man. Fucking brilliant. Just fucking brilliant. Yeah, that was... To know what you know and what you don't know. You don't know what you don't know until you know what you don't know. Something like that. Something like that. All right, I'll post that link. You betcha. Let me post that link in the chat here. Yeah, go read some of the comments, man. We should probably fucking... there's some great ones in there. There you go, Trouble. All right. Yeah, that's great. I'm gonna stop sharing right now. Here we go. That was great. All right. Yeah, go read the comments. Hilarious. Yeah. Very good shit, man.
If you want to take over, all you gotta do is beguile all the women and play upon their vanity and push them up on a tall pedestal where they like to be and think they're a know-it-all and make them think that they actually know something, and then they'll literally do that for the rest of their life. And there's men that do it too, but as you'll notice, there's a lot more involved now because they're putting a lot of women in these politician places and so forth because they're literally prostitutes is the right word. I mean, that's what they are. They'll do anything for money. They don't care what it is.
Yeah.
They don't know
Yeah,
any better either. That's what sucks. I don't mind when somebody is. I'd rather have someone intelligent, absolutely effing with me, and
Yeah.
telling me lies, and like, oh no, the Earth isn't flat, blah blah blah, right? Even though they know damn well you're right. Okay. When somebody is completely fucking clueless and trying to convince you that, because they've been convinced of that, someone's propped them up. That's the sad part.
No doubt about it, man. Great point. Yeah, it just blew me away. I'm like, just absolutely destroying everything she believed in, and she couldn't handle. She's not gonna like flip or anything, but
I was like the first person to see that video. I'm not kidding. I was sitting here watching my subscription list when it popped up, and I'm like, okay, let's check this out. And I just couldn't shut it off. I just started clicking everything, like, favorite, add to this playlist, add to that playlist, add, fucking share, add. That's a fucking good one, because you're dealing right there with the Neil deGrasse Tysons, and her attitude is exactly what you'd expect, though. If it's not an accredited PhD, let's see their credentials. Did you go to school? Blah, 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 blah. That's the typical dumbass that doesn't understand that the most skilled person in the world doesn't matter what their credentials are. Proof is the proof. You know where he fucked up, though? He started getting a little bit more quick and animated and not on the same level he started at. If he would have kept that pace, he would have been doing okay.
Lost the tempo a little bit. He got a little ahead of himself.
Yeah, but you know where he lost it really, though, was the oil platforms. He should have shut her head right down right there when she's like, oh, whether it's a bump on the Earth and da-da-da-da-da and the height of this. Well, it's sea level, lady. What the hell? Sea level is the same everywhere on the globe.
Right.
There's a variance if you're going to count high tide or something. Okay, fine. Well, we can account for that if you want to get that technical. But a platform to a platform is not land, and there's no lake, and there's no fucking nothing. I don't even accept the lake myself. As a flat earther, I don't accept the lake.
Well, there's no tides on the big lakes. You live near some big lakes. There's no tides, right?
Well, even though technically we all know there should be a curve on everything, the point is it's a standing body of water. It's a puddle, and it's too many arguments against it. So the only way to shut that argument down is just to stay with the ocean, because the ocean is consistent. It's most of this ball, which is right away the 0 point measurement of everything starts at the ocean. That's it.
Yes, that was just outstanding.
Again, anyone who claims to be a scientist or whatever and looks into these numbers, it's not like we're fucking slicing an onion so thin that you can read through it. We're fucking telling you that this is a matter of a lot of space here, a lot of height, a lot of distance. This isn't like a fucking 0.301 fucking, we're off by a fucking factor of 0.0001%. No. We're not arguing fucking semantics. We're telling you it's not curved.
Right.